Good evening. Second one, a vid concerning the Project Bluebeam. I've done some little bit of looking into it, and the reason for the chemtrails and what I believe to be the absolute acceleration in the chemtrail project. I think we've got several things that are facing us at the moment. I still believe that they are trying to enact martial law. However, this Project Bluebeam and the chemtrails, it gives more credence to the acceleration of the spraying. What the CIA is calling these stratospheric aerosol injections. It basically turns the atmosphere into a giant movie screen. And from what I can gather, out of Montauk Point and the Philadelphia Project from just after World War II, the Montauk Project was a lot of the mind control, mind manipulation, trying to develop humans that could see beyond what's available through the five senses. So a lot of brain manipulation, mind manipulation, a lot of studies done on the human psyche and the human abilities, and of course genetics, and according to many of the researchers, a lot of various alien and extraterrestrial interaction. But what I wanted to get to is, and this explains the religion and the reason for religion. It's not to say that these creators of religion knew that this was necessarily going to be the end result, that we would have the technology to do this. However, they did have some insight into the technological advances that would be allowed by the visitors who genetically engineered us, the ones who were actually controlling the world, and the step-by-step technology releases that they would then propagate. But this Bluebeam project, it has, from what I can gather so far, 4 phases. Phase 1 is a breakdown of all archaeological knowledge. They plan to pinpoint earthquakes that are going to reveal items that are unusual, quote unquote, and these items are going to help to convince the population that all of the religious doctrines on the world have been misinterpreted. So these unusual artifacts that are unearthed from these, quote, earthquakes will then help to convince people that all the religious doctrine that they believe in, whether it's Islam or Hindu or Christianity, has all been misinterpreted. And so they're going to use that to then try to realign religious doctrine into a more singular and uniform belief system. So once they accomplish that, phase 2 is sort of a universal space light show. And what they're going to do is they're going to use 3D holograms, optical holograms with sound in the sky to sort of, it's designed to prepare people, to acclimate them to these visions that they're seeing in the sky. And then they move on to phase 3, which is two-way electronic telepathic communication. So they're going to use ELF, VLF, and LF waves, which are extremely low frequencies, very low frequencies, and low frequencies. And these waves will be electronically directed or inserted directly into the brain to convince people that they are getting these, quote, messages inside of their head. And these messages are designed to convince people of the messianic figures that are going to appear through these 3D optical holograms with sound. So what they're going to do is target the major religions and the messianic figures from those major religions, whether it's Jesus or Abdullah or whatever his name is, Abraham or Muhammad, and then Ganesh or Sumatra or whatever the one in Hindu is. And so these messianic figures, they're going to appear, and the messages that have been pre-programmed into people's minds electronically using these low frequencies will convince people that these optical holograms are in fact real. And then apparently the process is going to be all of these messianic figures are then going to melt into one God figure. And this one God figure is going to be the one who explains how the religions have been misinterpreted. And supposedly this is going to be the Antichrist. And so they're going to, quote, reveal this Antichrist because he's going to have the one with the sacred knowledge to explain how these unearthed artifacts are the true information. And these, he's going to explain how these unearthed artifacts are in direct contradiction to canonized beliefs, and the direct messages to the brains of the population are going to convince the population that this is the Antichrist, because there's going to be a time of peace where the supposed God figure or the messianic figure that is created from this melding of all of the others and who has this knowledge, there's going to be a time of peace because it's going to alter the belief system around the world to try to unify it into a single belief system. And the very last stage, or the phase 4 of this Bluebeam project, is a staged alien invasion. So using these optical holograms with the sound, and they've actually got a satellite in space. I think it's called the NROL 32 or something. I keep forgetting the exact nomenclature of it, but it has the capability of pinpoint laser emissions into the Earth. So they're talking about using that as, the death ray from the mothership. And so this is it's designed to have this, Antichrist figure show his true colors after the world has been subjugated into this one religion. And there will still be pockets of resistance, and in order to then quell the last pockets of resistance, there's this staged alien invasion, because terrorism can only last for so long, and these religious wars can only last for so long, and your martial law can only last for so long before the people get tired of it and rise up. However, if the entire globe's population feels threatened by an otherworldly threat, well, then it unifies everybody. The enemy of my enemy is my enemy, or the enemy of my enemy is my friend, pardon me. So it's, all of the disputes that we have on the planet will suddenly be resolved. Reagan talked about it. I often wonder what would happen if we were faced with a threat from outside of this world, how quickly our differences would disappear. And that's kind of the idea. And some of the technology that they're going to use is a satellite called the James Webb Space Telescope. It was scheduled to launch in 2013. Now, I haven't researched to find out whether or not it was launched, but apparently this telescope has the ability to utilize telescopes that satellites that are already orbiting the Earth. And there's several of these James Webb Space Telescope satellites that were scheduled for launch, and these are the apparatus that they're using to create these optical 3D holograms. And the chemtrails that they're pumping, which I've noticed has been definitely increased since the Brexit, because the overall, the overall end game to Project Bluebeam and the chemtrails and, all of these things are designed to create a one world religion. And, they want to move into this, quote, New Age philosophy, which I think is a bunch of horse shit also. But they want the planet to be engulfed in this one religion, which then allows them to move more passively to a one world government. And so I'm trying to put this information out there just simply because, we are individuals. We have our own thoughts. We have our own dreams. We have, that for our progeny. And I just don't believe that, we are here to be subjugated and into a slave race. That's what all the religions of the world teach, is obedience and servitude. And that's constantly what we're bombarded with. Be obedient to your teachers, be obedient to the authorities, to law enforcement, be obedient to your government, be obedient to the aliens, be obedient. I'm sick and tired of people telling me to fucking be obedient. I don't want to be obedient. I want to live. I want to enjoy the planet that we are so graciously existing on. I want to explore the possibilities that are in the universe. I want my children to have the opportunity to explore the possibilities of the universe, to explore the possibilities of the innerverse, of what's inside each and every one of us. And so that's why when I heard about this Project Bluebeam, it verifies for me the real control that is being perpetrated. They're using the book of Revelation as the script. So the religions and God and Jesus and Muhammad, it's all been contrived. It's all been fabricated. And we now, in this time, in this age, if we can get this information to our brothers and sisters, our universal brothers and sisters, regardless of what they believe, regardless of what you believe, if we can just get the information out, then we'll have more and a better chance of resisting this global servitude, this global slave race that has been propagated for thousands of years. Now is the time that we can abolish it, and we can actually be free, sovereign entities in the universe and discover our true potential. So hopefully this helps, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.